religious leaders came forward to say that the arrest of those women and the charges is against our culture and tradition. And they took a vow that they were going to do everything possible to ensure that the ban against FGM was repealed. 90% of our members of parliament were moving forward with repealing the ban. Yes, absolutely. So yes, our law on FGM was introduced in 2015, and in 2023 we had the first successful prosecution where 3 women were found guilty of performing FGM on several girls, and they were fined. And because of that, there was a backlash where particularly religious leaders came forward to say that the arrest of those women and the charges is against our culture and tradition. And they took a vow that they were going to do everything possible to ensure that the ban against FGM was repealed. And of course, consequently, the parliament picked this up, and the bill was tabled at parliament to discuss whether FGM should be illegal or again legalized. So a lot of our fight for that was very multi-stakeholder. Like, we worked with communities to try to get them to understand why it was so important to maintain the ban. We also work in the beginning. I would tell you 90% of our members of parliament were moving forward with repealing the ban, because there were different factors, even though some of them strongly believe that FGM is wrong and it shouldn't happen. But they would tell you that if I vote against the repeal, then my constituency will not re-elect me, because this is what society wants. So it was more about, also for some MPs, about maintaining their positions, about staying in power. And FGM was now being used as a tool. So this is why one of our strongest strategy was to go target those members of parliament and go into their community to make sure that their communities speak to them to say, we are with you. We want you to maintain this ban. That was a strong strategy that worked for us, because it built confidence that the MPs, if they vote to maintain the ban, they still have their support from their communities. But also storytelling and survivor voices. One of the challenges we had when the bill was tabled, they wanted evidence. They said we need evidence to prove that FGM harms women. And they didn't believe, they told us straight on, we don't want any evidence outside of the country. And Gambia is a place where research is very limited. We don't have a lot of evidence. So what we did was mobilize survivor voices, people like myself and other women. We went into the parliament and testified as to how FGM has affected us, but also what we are seeing in the society. And also we were very strategic about that. We made sure that it wasn't just women like myself who are seen as activists, or the narrative that we are influenced by the West, that's why we are attacking our culture. We diversified the panel. We made sure we brought women from rural communities, women from different age groups. We also looked for allies among men to come and support us at the parliament. We looked for medical professionals who were able to come forward and say, okay, I am a man, I may not know what it feels like to be a FGM survivor, but I've treated women who've had this and this and this complications. So it was a combination of different things, but also importantly, and what I really appreciated was the support globally. Yes, the movement was led by Gambians, but we have supporters globally who were using social media, who were writing articles. We had journalists from outside the Gambia who put this out in the platform, because as I always maintain, yes, this is an issue of culture and tradition, but Gambia is not an island. We are part of the international community. We have signed treaties under the UN that bans FGM. So that made this an international issue. And I'm really glad that we had support from the international community that were also amplifying our advocacy.